Hello, my name is Michael Stütz.
And my name is Bartholomew Sammut.
And together we run the Xposed Queer Film Festival Berlin.
And that is happening from the 21st to the 24th of May here in Kino Movimento.
Well, this year it's the 10th edition of the Xposed Queer Film Festival. And you started in 2006. But how did you get started? Like, who had the idea? How was the first festival?
Looks at me.
He has to do that.
Yeah. I had the idea when I was in Australia. I wanted to come back to Berlin and do a film program during the Pride Week. And Australia was having quite a good few years of producing queer short films. So I thought, let's give some exposure to these filmmakers and do something at an international event. And there was nothing really happening in Berlin at that time during the film week. So I was contacting everyone from Australia, seeing if anyone would want to help out, because I didn't really have any contacts here. And then contacted the Teddy Foundation, and then they put me in contact with Stuetz, and then it all just sort of went ahead. And then I was expecting maybe, 20 people or so to come, but it was like full, like maybe 130 or something like that in Stuetz. And we were, overwhelmed, I guess, and very excited, and then had that stupid idea, let's do it again. So we did.
And you started off in Stuetz, by now
Yep.
you're in Movimento. What happened in between?
Oh my God, it's 10 years. Can you see it? So much. What happened? I mean, I always wanted to stay in Stuetz, I think, because I like that idea of showing films out of a cinema in different areas and also in like an institution like Stuetz. And so we stayed there for as long as we could, but it got a little bit difficult as the program developed into the land and region focus, because a lot of the films that we were then showing, like in the Turkish year or in the Middle East year, there was a lot of subtitles. And that's hard for an audience in that sort of area to see subtitles, because the screen, it's not really built for films to show with subtitles. So we really needed like a cinema, and that's when we decided we need to move to a cinema. And we went kind of through Stuetz, and then kind of transitioned as well to Eyesight, and then to Movimento.
Mm-hmm.
And this is...
It's the third year here.
And you started it, and how did you get involved?
Well, we met at the Berlinale, at the Panorama section, where we both work. I started to work in 2006, and Bart joined in 2009, I think.
Yeah.
And I've been to Xposed, I think, for the first time in 2007. Well, I didn't know you back then. But
I found a photo of you there.
But I went there with Mabel and Nina Hagen, I think.
She was blowing a whistle the whole time.
And was high or something. But it was fun. So I knew the festival, and I really liked it back then. And I went back also another time, and then, I don't know, somehow you asked me, I think.
Begged or pleaded?
No, you asked me if I would join, and I said yes, of course. So in 2011, I started to join them and worked on the 2012 edition for the Middle East focus. That's how we started, and that was the year where we were, for the opening night, still at Stuetz, but moved then to Eiszeit Kino the other 2 days. And in 2013, we had an Austrian avant-garde focus, and that's when we moved completely into Movimento, which was a great step.
Oh yeah, that's a very good step.
Yeah.
Berlin is quite a creative city. There are lots of festivals going on. What makes your festival special? I mean, why should people choose to come here and not go somewhere else?
That's a good question.
Well, because we're showing films that are not shown anywhere else in Berlin, or even at other film festivals or queer film festivals. We're showcasing a lot of Berlin-based young filmmakers in our program since years, and I think that's also something that's important. Also, films that are not made for commercial use or for commercial cinema. It's a more experimental, underground, feminist, sex-positive kind of cinema, and so we show a lot of these works, which I think very important, because unfortunately, many film festivals do not embrace those works enough, especially within the LGBTQ film festival community. Because some people, they might be afraid that people won't come to the screenings and we have to show too difficult films that are not narrative enough and those kind of things. And I think it's very important to keep up that work and show those films, because these are the films that mostly interest us and that, for us, also mostly, have the most longevity. Do you say that?
Yeah. Longevity, yeah.
Yeah, so we're interested in that. And I think the mixture of films that we have is also something that makes the festival special, and the place and the people that come here. It's a mixture of the people who live here, the people who visit Berlin, so it's, I think it's what is screened on, what is screened in a cinema is also sort of a reflection of what goes on in the city somehow.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. No, it's good. In a nutshell, exactly. Yeah. We
or at least that's what we're trying to do,
Yeah.
You already said that the mixture is special. Well, you started off as a queer short film festival. By now you developed into a festival that also shows long movies. What is so special about the short films? Why do you embrace them? Why do you like them so much? What's special about this form?
I think it takes an extreme amount of talent to make any sort of film, but also to make a great short film, it's harder to tell a complete story in, say, under 5 or 10 minutes, Whereas in a feature, you can really spread out and develop and really build something, create a pace or momentum. But to really tell something in a short amount of time, you have to have a lot of talent. And this talent is always the most exciting when you see it. So we see some films and we think, holy shit, this is fucking great, or we have no idea what it means. So we have to show it, because maybe then we can figure it out, or maybe then when the filmmakers here, they can tell us a little bit about it and help us figure it out. The short film's exciting.
Yeah.
It's an exciting form.
Absolutely, it's a form, where a lot of experimentation happens, and aesthetically, formally, but also in terms of narrative. And what's also wonderful is, you don't have just single short films, but you put them in programs. We have like 5 programs, and it's always great and challenging to pick. You choose the films because of what they are, as an entity. But then in the end, you start to program, and you have to think about which films go into which program together, and how do you play them in which order. Which can be very interesting. And this is something that's really fascinating in a way, because this, you can express something with it. What do you put next to each other,
Yeah.
Are you more in favor of showing films that kind of are aesthetically sort of the same, or have the same approach, or are you really trying to show completely different things next to each other? Like, for instance, a gay narrative next to a feminist porn film, Which also brings, which we like to do, yes.
Yeah.
Like rough edges, really surprise people also, what comes next, instead of showing something that is rather similar. So that's what we're trying to do, and it also is interesting because it brings in a lot of different people, and they see films that they otherwise might not have,
There's this trend a lot at some other festivals where they would group things into programs. I mean, it's an interesting way as well to program, like all the lesbian shorts in one program, or the gay shorts in one program.
Yeah,
but
see how many gay people you see in the lesbian shorts program. Not many.
Yeah. So,
unfortunately.
Yeah, but I mean, that's an easy way to program, I think, and it's also a bit too segregative.
Yes, it absolutely is. I mean, I think that's not what Berlin doesn't definitely not stand for.
Yeah.
And I think the people are also not interested in those kind of program decisions or techniques. I think they really want to see a wide range of themes and topics and gender. So.
Yeah.
And from what it sounds like, it also broadens the perspectives of the people that go and watch the slots of the short films, because they see different things and not just one topic.
They'll come out with big white eyes.
Shocked.
Oh my God, never seen a vagina that big before in my life.
We've had those reactions. It's wonderful, exactly what we wanted.
Exactly, that's nice. Yeah.
But can you point out some of the highlights of this year's program?
I can.
In general or shorts? Or
In general.
Oh my God, there's so many. They're all highlights. Everything's a highlight. It's very hard. We're building over there in the corner there, we're going to build an installation. It's called the Naughty Room, and we're going to have porn films shown on a loop, like every night from 6 o'clock.
Curated by the Berlin Porn Film Festival for us.
Exactly. Because they're also doing their 10th anniversary this year too. So that's a highlight, and that's some sort of direction that we want to go to in the future as well. And Please Like Me, I think, is a highlight. This TV series from Australia, it's hilarious and really funny, and but not just funny.
No, there's more to it than just I mean, it's a comedy, of course, but it's a comedy with depth and written with wit, and it's very, very interesting. And of course, in the beginning, there's a coming out, but it's not a typically coming out story because it embraces so many other things surrounding the main character. You know, from the mother who's mentally ill to all of his friends and everything. So it's a really interesting contemporary view, I would say.
Yeah.
In general, not just Australia, but in general.
And we haven't shown a TV series before, so it's a first
and
for us.
It's not very well known here. It got really good reviews, like in America and everywhere, and it's running there as well. So it has its kind of a core audience, I think, but it's not that well known here. So we thought, you know, let's show it here. We're showing the whole first season on Saturday evening, and it's interesting to see how people will respond to that. You know, so hopefully, if they come, they will love it. That's for sure.
Spooky sound in the background. It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, all short film programs are very diverse and very mixed. So I think you know, everybody has to see for themselves what speaks most to them when they take a look at the program. From the feature films, I would really recommend, or for me, from my perspective, Fort Buchanan, which screens on Sunday evening at 6. By American filmmaker Benjamin Crotti, who lives and works in Paris, which is a wonderful, odd but very original French art house film mixed with kind of soap opera-like dialogues. Yeah, no, he took actually the dialogues in the film are actually from soap operas. He took them, translated them. That's what he wanted to do, and then shot it aesthetically in a very specific way. You know, and then. I think the group of actors, some are friends, some are professional actors. So it's like this whole mixture, this whole very specific microcosm, and the story that he tells with it, you know, is wonderful. It's wonderful and really original. I saw it last year at the festival, and I was very stunned by it, and I thought it's perfect to screen it. And he will come, so it's wonderful to have him here and talk about the film as well. So this is one of my highlights. And
the midnight snack screenings are highlights too, because we want to show things going late into night, more into the genre field of queer film. And so we have two really intense films that are going to show, Amor Eterno and Heterophobia. I want to say hilarious, but, you know, maybe only Heterophobia is kind of hilarious, but it's also a completely different film. You need to... Yeah.
You need to see it. It's
you need
very
to see
hard
it to believe it, I guess.
It's like a feverish kind of hallucinatory dream. It's it's very trippy.
Yeah.
How do you find these films?
Well, some through research, some through festivals where we go to. Like Fort Buchanan, I saw at a festival, as well as Appropriate Behavior, who had like quite a buzz actually after its Sundance premiere. And Heterophobia, that was through a work at the Berlinale, actually.
So mainly from other festivals and...
Yes, the short films more through research, I must say. Not much through the festivals we go to, but mostly through research, a little bit through other programs from festivals that we know and like. Yeah. But it's mostly through research or the connections you've developed, you know, the networking. You do, you know, with the filmmakers here in Berlin or somewhere else. You know, sometimes you kind of, you know, there's a bond, you know.
Yeah. A lot of the Australian ones I had seen or programmed when I was working for eCarpet, a TV show in Australia. And they would show lots of experimental or very smart short films. And we're always looking for films that push the boundaries or confuse people, because it was like a late night, Saturday night TV show. And so there's a lot of them that I remembered from them, and then of course that TV show doesn't exist anymore, so there was no one there to then kind of pass on the contact, so then you have to do all this other sort of stalking, and then you find it. So we've got some good classics from there. Yeah.
And you also have something here which is called the Queer Film Fund. Can you explain what exactly that is?
the queer. That's right.
It's money.
It's money. We're giving back money to the. We got finally some support financially this year from the city, from the cultural fund of Friedrichshain-Kreuzberg, the district, which was very nice. Thank you. And partly we gave that money, or we put that money into a queer film fund, short film fund, which is for short films projects in development. People submitted their works, the scripts and the visual documents and whatever they had. And last week we went through all the submissions and we picked 5 projects to be in the final round to pitch their projects personally to the festival jury, who then will pick a winner of those 5 projects.
The winner will get then €2,000 cash to help make their short film. The short films are all like under 10 minutes, so it's kind of a good amount of money to go towards a production. And then they also get €2,000 worth of equipment hire from 25p Cine Support. So it's like almost like €4,000 to go towards their budget of a short film. And it's pretty good actually, because a lot of short films get made sometimes for less, you know, or they get made for a lot more, and then they have to look for all these ways to try and find funding. And sometimes to get queer film funding is difficult when you have a queer topic. So we thought this is a kind of a good way to push the queer film
and it is
forward.
For Berlin-based filmmakers.
Exactly.
Not Berlin-born or German-born, Berlin-based. So people just have to work and live here.
Yeah.
That's then they're eligible. And yeah, and the 5 projects I think are very interesting, very diverse, and all by female directors and producers with female or transgender topics, but mostly feminist, I would say.
Very different topics.
Very
The
gender fluid
narrative.
sometimes, but not very male orientated, no. I think they're like maybe a man in the corner somewhere. But those were the ones, you know, that really spoke to us the mostly.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the Lolly Awards? Okay.
Yeah, the Lolly Awards, I think we started in 2005 when we did our German focus, and yeah, we've done them every year since then, and we give like a Lolly Award to the best Xposed short, which is a short that shows in the focus program, and then a Lolly Award for the best German short, and then a Lolly Award for the best international short. And then also we're giving away then the Queer Film Fund this year,
and an audience
Lolly Award, so the
shorts.
audience can vote for their favorite short, and then it could win.
But that means that the film funding is not connected to the Lolly Awards.
No.
Ah, okay. Because
The Lolly Award is a lovely award.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a teddy, but it's not a teddy. It's like a lolly. It's like a mixture between a teddy and a lolly. If they got together, had a rough night, and had a bastard child, it'd be a lolly.
It's a very creative, funny-looking thing that people usually really like because they never.
It's edible.
Yeah.
They can eat it if they want to.
Parts of it.
This year might not be edible though.
Yeah. So it's just the honor.
It's an honor. It's an honor. It's always good to win an award. I think awards sometimes can help push a film further into the festival life. You know, once they've won a few awards, you know, other festival programmers look at it a bit more seriously. So that's kind of one of the reasons why we wanted to invent this sort of prize, so we can also push the films that screen here into other festivals. Yeah.
And apart from the award and the film screening, you will also have a big opening party, right?
Oh, yeah.
When does that take place and where? And what do we have to expect?
Oh, expect the unexpected. No, it's really a special evening.
It's very unexpected. We don't know what to expect now.
True. Parts of it we don't know yet.
Yeah.
We have, well, after our screening of Priscilla, The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, the iconic Australian queer film classic, we go to Südblock on Cottbuser Tor, which has been home for our opening party for the 3rd year now.
Yeah.
And we have there, we're going to show a special video made by an English video artist, visual artist and DJ, Jeffrey Hinton, who was a very close collaborator and friend of the late performer Lee Bowery. And he made a special 25-minute video of the times of the 80s they had together, performances, but also private moments, the surroundings, the club that he ran. So all sorts of impressions, I think, and it's something that has never been shown anywhere. And Lee Bowery, he's not so well known anymore, but he was
Australian icon
who lived and worked in London most of his time, and was really influential towards people like Lady Gaga, the costumes she's doing. Like a lot of stuff comes from what he did. Very outrageous costumes. He did a lot of live drag performances on the streets in London, you know, like really queering the city with his presence. Very big man.
Big presence, big personality.
Yeah, and so he was a super fascinating figure. Actually, the motif on our poster and our, you know, the artwork, actually, this is a little bit of a it's not exactly, but it's a little bit of that
it's quite an homage to his
it is an homage, because he posed for Lucien Freud, the famous painter. Did a few portraits of him, and on one he's like naked, looking back from over his shoulder. So this is a little bit of an homage to this kind of work. Of course, it's very specific and very different here as well. But
it's a whole nother thing.
So there's Lee Bowery a little bit in the artwork as well. So this is something we're super excited about. And Jeffrey has shown his work at the National Gallery in London and those kind of works, but he put that specially for us together. So that's something I think everybody
We've seen bits of it, but we haven't seen the whole thing.
No, so we're going to see two for the first time, more or less. But it's going to be great, and I think people can really look forward to that. And
pornographic warning in there.
A pornographic warning,
pornographic
a little
warning,
bit.
Apparently. Yeah. So that's going to be a special screening that we're going to do. We always tend to do a special screening at the Soup Block, and then there's Divon Davon that are going to play live, a Berlin band.
Divon Davon, yeah.
Divon Davon. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Divon Davon.
Divon Davon. Yeah. And then Maria Psycho is going to do a performance as well. I think a balloon monster.
A balloon monster, and it's gonna be with a Skype connected. We're gonna screen it actually. She's gonna walk down Oranienstraße.
Interesting.
Maybe we shouldn't say that.
I don't know if we should say anything.
But it's gonna be a special performance.
Yeah, we won't say anything.
Also a little bit, kind of a Lee Bowery homage.
I don't think we can say that either.
I do say that.
You do say that?
Yes.
I just know it's going to be insane and great.
Yeah.
Well, then...
Yeah. And then A- plays as well. He played last year till 5 or 6 in the morning and everyone was dancing the whole time. It was great. Yeah.
Then I would say we look forward to the big opening party, and we all will be surprised about what is going to happen. And I wish you a very good festival.
Thanks.
And a lot of interesting Q&As and good screenings.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
started to work in 2006, and Bart joined in 2009, I think.
Yeah.
And I've been to Xposed, I think, for the first time in 2007. Well, I didn't know you back then. But
I found a photo of you there.
But I went there with Mabel and Nina Hagen, I think.
She was blowing a whistle the whole time.
And was high or something. But it was fun. So I knew the festival, and I really liked it back then. And I went back also another time, and then, I don't know, somehow you asked me, I think.
Begged or pleaded?
No, you asked me if I would join, and I said yes, of course. So in 2011, I started to join them and worked on the 2012 edition for the Middle East focus. That's how we started, and that was the year where we were, for the opening night, still at Stuetz, but moved then to Eiszeit Kino the other 2 days. And in 2013, we had an Austrian avant-garde focus, and that's when we moved completely into Movimento, which was a great step.
Oh yeah, that's a very good step.
Yeah.
Berlin is quite a creative city. There are lots of festivals going on. What makes your festival special? I mean, why should people choose to come here and not go somewhere else?
That's a good question.
Well, because we're showing films that are not shown anywhere else in Berlin, or even at other film festivals or queer film festivals. We're showcasing a lot of Berlin-based young filmmakers in our program since years, and I think that's also something that's important. Also, films that are not made for, you know, commercial use or for commercial cinema. It's more experimental, underground.
And there was nothing really happening in Berlin at that time during the film week, so I was contacting everyone from Australia, seeing if anyone would want to help out, because I didn't really have any contacts here, and then contacted the Teddy Foundation, and then they put me in contact with Stuetz, and then it all just sort of went ahead. And then I was expecting maybe, you know, 20 people or so to come, but it was like full, like maybe 130 or something like that in Stuetz, and we were, yeah, overwhelmed, I guess, and very excited, and then had that stupid idea, let's do it again. So we did.
And you started off in Stuetz, by now
Yep.
you're in Movimento. What happened in between?
Oh my God, it's 10 years. Can you see it? So much. What happened? I mean, I always wanted to stay in Stuetz.
Hello, my name is Michael Stütz.
And my name is Bartholomew Sammut.
And together we run the Xposed Queer Film Festival Berlin.
And that is happening from the 21st to the 24th of May here in Kino Movimento.
Well, this year it's the 10th edition of the Xposed Queer Film Festival, and you started in 2006. But how did you get started? Like, who had the idea? How was the first festival?
Looks at me.
He has to do that.
Yeah. I had the idea when I was in Australia. I wanted to come back to Berlin and do a film program during the Pride Week. And Australia was having quite a good few years of producing queer short films. So I thought, let's give some exposure to these filmmakers and do something at an international event. I think because I like that idea of showing films out of a cinema in different areas and also in like an institution like Stuetz. And so we stayed there for as long as we could, but it got a little bit difficult as the program developed into the land and region focus, because a lot of the films that we were then showing, like in the Turkish year or in the Middle East year, there was a lot of subtitles. And that's hard for an audience in that sort of area to see subtitles, because the screen, it's not really built for films to show with subtitles. So we really needed like a cinema, and that's when we decided we need to move to a cinema. And we went kind of through Stuetz, and then kind of transitioned as well to Eiszeit, and then to Movimento.
Mm-hmm.
And this is...
It's the third year here.
And you started it, and how did you get involved?
Well, we met at the Berlinale, at the Panorama section, where we both work.